Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? Okay, so let's get back to Iraq. See that company right there on your screen? That's Siemens. Their job is to once again attempt to get in there and build an electrical grid for the people of Iraq. They have installed some big generators, but for some strange reason, somebody keeps going in there and blowing them up. Security forces are going to be needed, in my opinion, regularly over there in Iraq, at least for a short term, to make sure that nobody blows these things up. There are individuals out there who want to make sure that Iraq is never a stable country, that the economy is never stable, because it allows them to do all the corruption that they are currently doing. So let's get into this. Before we get started, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button. And if you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I certainly do appreciate it. If you're thinking about buying gold and silver, head on over to our friends at Money Metals Exchange. The link will be down below in the description. If you are a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code PIMPYSILVER. Yes, it has changed. PIMPYSILVER. So if you're watching this video and it's an older video, make sure you check on current videos, because the code is going to be changing from time to time from now on. Also, I can be found on other platforms. Everybody knows I have my own website, Pimpy's News Network. Over here, I post videos that I can't get away with over on YouTube. Also, I have a group on Facebook called Pimpy's Investment Chat. Over here, we do talk about gold, silver, cryptocurrencies, as well as foreign currency investments. Come on over here and join us. It's free to do so. You can also come follow me on Twitter, MeWe, YouTube, and Odyssey. The links for all these platforms will be down below in the description. So for whatever reason, if I get removed off of one platform, you could find me on the others. And for those of you looking for my address, there it is right here. Feel free to pause the video and go ahead and write it down and reach out to me. I was in the group chatting with the people, and somebody brought up a video that I did a while back. They said, Pimpy, I remember you doing a video where it showed the reason that the rate was going to be $3.22. I said, I know what video you're talking about, and I remember the article. And they said, where is that video? I actually tried to go find that video, and I cannot find it. So many times I've had videos removed. So many times I've been suspended. God knows, whatever reason. A lot of my videos have been removed, lost, and God knows where they are. Anyways, I let them know that I could not find the video and made my apology, but they were saying, can you find that article and talk about it again? So here, after giving it some thought, here's what I'm going to do. Although the article makes a great case why the rate is going to be reinstated at 322, I want everybody to just be aware that there's nothing out there that guarantees the rate at 322. I say that hesitantly because in the article, they tell you why the rate is going to be reinstated at 322. And they're using quotes from individuals who are part of the United Nations and the whole 9 yards. I was reluctant at first just because I'm not going to put kind of information on here that's going to mislead people. I'd rather people stay grounded. So after I did find the article, after I went through the article, I realized there's places within the articles in which I'm going to have to elaborate a little more so that people are not misled. I used to actually go back to the article, read it to get fired up about the possibilities. So I do remember the article. I do have the article. I was hesitant to do the video just because I don't want people to misunderstand. And I realize you guys are not kids. You guys are grown adults. I'll go ahead and do the video, but I am going to elaborate more, like I said, and just point out why there's some concerns about something that's being said in there. And I'm hesitant to say what it is right now, but you'll see in the video. So let's get into current news now. It says, with the document, central bank calls on the exchange companies in Kurdistan to adopt its instruction and vows violators. So I had a chance to look into this whole new banking system that they're trying to implement. Well, obviously, it's a major upgrade from where they were. A lot of the things they were doing before was manual, believe it or not. So they are upgrading in a major way. But my concern is it's tied internationally to a lot of other banks around the world. I guess all banks are, if you think about it, especially central banks. But the direction I see that they're heading in is according to this, World Economic Forum direction, and the software that they're installing is called the smart software. And the people from the World Economic Forum want to create what they call smart cities. Every single thing, and I mean everything electronic, your phone, any surveillance cameras that you have, your computers, the way you do banking, your medical records, your visits to your doctors, where your car goes, everything keeps track of what you do. And these smart cities are already being built. I told a story in a video before. I had a guy come knock on my door and asked if I wanted to change my house or do a smart house, and that they would come and do it for free. I said, dude, you're in the wrong neighborhood for this crap, man. I'm not kidding. You're going to get shot. People don't want big government. This is the wrong neighborhood to be doing that crap. You come near my house again, I kick the crap out of you. He left, but I was serious about it. I know what these smart cities are. I know what this smart house is. Your own refrigerator spies on you. I'm not even kidding you. So these people, the powers that be, they want to absolutely keep track of everything you do. But also, if you do some real shenanigans, something that you shouldn't be doing, they'll have that ability to hold it above your head and get you to do whatever they want. And that's not the kind of government you want. Sure, there's people out there going, well, don't do anything that the government don't want you to do. Yeah, that's fine and dandy. But I'm talking about, let's say you have an affair. Let's say that you're smoking a joint, but you're not allowed to. Let's say, stuff like that. This is the crap that they could use against you. Also, people should be very, very concerned about Microsoft buying the software that is being used to create these so-called deep fakes. Not what you want. So this article talking about Kurdistan needs to get aboard and adopt the same instructions that they're using over there in Baghdad. I was expecting to see in the article some resistance from Maliki and Khazali, but no word from them, which is surprising because they both own banks and they use those banks to do some shenanigans. Says the deputy, there are no political differences regarding the draft budget for 2023, which means this went bipartisan. Members of the Government Program Monitoring Committee, Representative Al-Maliki and not Nori Al-Maliki, not the bad guy, this is somebody different, expected today, Friday, the date for sending the final draft of the budget from the Ministry of Finance to the Council of Ministries in preparation for sending it to Parliament, noting that there are no political differences regarding it. Maliki said in a televised interview to the news, the last draft of the law was completed within the Ministry of Finance and will be sent next week to the Council of Ministers and then to the House of Representatives. Like I stated before, it'd be nice if they got it done by the end of this month, but not realistic. Pointing out that there is no differences between the political forces regarding the content, and everyone is waiting for a draft to come. The budget will be sent to Parliament after the government votes on it. She added, tomorrow's session will include taking the constitutional oath for some new deputies, voting for new deputies in the permanent parliamentary committees, presenting the formatical laws for the first reading, in addition to amending the paragraphs of the industrial investment law. Tomorrow, the first reading of the Communications and Information Crime Law will also be completed. So this is good news. We might finally get a budget. The sooner the better. Here we are halfway through January and one has not been passed yet. Right here it said the Sudanese from Germany, serious about implementing economic reform. You can see right here, al-Sudani expressed his seriousness of his government in implementing economic reform. The relationship between Iraq and Germany is distinct and has seen support for the democratic process in Iraq, as well as military and security support during the war on ISIS. Skip down a little bit below, al-Sudani says the vision and priorities of the Iraq government towards services, alleviating poverty rates, providing jobs, combating corruption, and reforming the economy, stressing his government's seriousness in implementing economic reform and an important aspect of it relative to the diversifying source of income. Skip down a little more, it says there are other areas related to cooperation in the field of retrieval of unwanted persons and funds in the government's anti-corruption campaign and a recovery of antiquities. And there is clear support from Germany. So what you're going to see happen is you're going to have Germany come in and do some work for Iraq in exchange for oil. It's not very much oil, but they definitely need it over there in Germany. They relied too much on Russia, and now that's backfired just a little bit. And so their people were suffering for a little while. But if they can get an agreement going with Iraq and it can help them put together their electrical grid, that's going to be major help. Also, this article touches on the port. It says there are companies implementing the largest port in the Middle East, the large port of Fayal. And there are companies we negotiated with to build railways and gas pipelines from the port of Turkey and Europe. So these are some major projects. These are very big. And here's the other part I was talking about earlier when it comes to Siemens. He explained that there is an understanding with Siemens in the field of training and raising the efficiency of workers in order to create an industry capable of securing the requirements of electrical power transmissions, operations, and projects, and providing job opportunities. In the other video, I was explaining that Germany originally had an agreement with Iraq, but that was actually stopped because the United States wanted part of that big time. And they said, look, we'll let Germany come in and do all the work and we'll fund it. This way then the United States has some kind of say-so about what's going on out there. Al-Sudini also added some good news. It says, we have hospitals under opening, some of which are under completion soon. It will be the first business of international companies entering the health sector. We are waiting for companies to come to Baghdad and to see on the ground opportunity in agriculture, industry, and educational sectors. So it looks like Al-Sudini is fast-stepping all kinds of projects to help them get away from relying so much on the oil revenue, which is something we've been waiting for now for years, decades. But we saw Al-Qadimi trying to make the effort to move forward and didn't have the type of support that Al-Sudini does. And it looks like Al-Sudini is fast-tracking all of this work, which is outstanding for anybody invested in the Iraqi Dinar, and even more so for the Iraqi people. And it goes on to talk more about Siemens here. It says, Al-Sudini confirms the government's determination to provide funds for the implementation of the Memorandum of Understanding with Siemens. Al-Sudini on Friday confirmed that the necessary funds will be provided to implement the Memorandum of Understandings with Siemens. It goes on to say that Al-Sudini was received in the capital, which is Berlin over there in Germany. He met with the CEO of Germany energy company Siemens. The meeting discussed mechanisms for cooperation with Siemens in development the electricity sector and removing all obstacles that were facing its work in Iraq. Al-Sudini went on to say the government's determination to provide the necessary funds to implement the Memorandum of Understanding signed with Siemens on the ground. So this is a great first move, but I wish they'd give us a time frame because before they said 2 years. 2 years is what they were saying. That was back in 2019. Siemens right here says the plan that they originally have is nothing compared to the new plan. We plan to expand cooperation with Iraq with projects exceeding 6 gigawatts. Siemens plans to expand its cooperation with Iraq by developing projects with the capacity of more than 6 gigawatts in the next 5 years. There we go. We got a time frame. Again, a big chunk of Iraq has no electricity. So if you're an outside investor and you want to come invest into Iraq, definitely want to have electricity there. Now, I'm sure in Baghdad they have electricity, but there are other areas in which they could be working in. Spokespersons for Siemens laid out what it is they're going to be doing, the construction of the power plants, as well as the development of renewable energy sector and the stabilization of the power grid. He said having reliable energy source is the foundation for a stable society. Supplying large parts of an entire country with electricity is therefore one of our company's most important tasks. Yeah, I would say so. You heard what they're saying right here, most of the country. The company will work to ensure that it achieved as quickly as possible with its partner in Iraq. So the current roadmap is linked to a 2019 agreement. Yeah. So it's been updated, obviously. I know sometimes when we're talking about articles, a lot of people don't see the bigger picture. I remember most YouTube channels were talking about the rate and how this rate, and that's all they talked about. But they weren't really covering news articles. They would read the articles but never explain to people how it is related to the exchange rate. Trust me, that's when I stepped on the scene, and that's why this channel is a little different. Obviously, if you want to have a stronger exchange rate for your currency, you need a very stable government, you need a stable currency, you need a stable economy, and having 94% of your budget relying on oil revenues is not a stable economy. Al-Qadimi went in there and changed it. It used to be like 98% relied on oil revenues, and now it's down to 96. It doesn't sound like much, but that does make a difference. I like to see how far Al-Sadini is going to get. I'm sure he's doing anything and everything he can to make as much of impression to the people of Iraq so that when they go to early elections, they'll consider him all over again. Anyways, you guys let me know what you think. Having electricity is going to be big over there in that country, don't you think? Anyways, that's it for now. I look forward to your comments down below, and I am out.